everyone, and welcome to the NBA version of Proline. I'm John Cranton in Las Vegas, joined by Big Al McMordie. Jim Feist is going to be joining us, as well as Jeff Saad of Las Vegas Sports Services. Our man on the street has a free college total going this weekend. First, Big Al, you've been red hot with your Fortune 500s, one of your top plays really since football season, one of your sharpest plays, and you have a big package coming up for Saturday. Tell everyone about it.
Yeah, John, the Fortune 500 Club plays, they stumbled last weekend, but still, if you go all the way back to Labor Day, they've been on fire. And we're featuring another one of those $500 plays on Saturday, along with 4 other winners, 5 plays in all on Saturday in our 5-play countdown. But if you sign up early, you get a bonus TV winner going tonight. So that's 6 plays. And among those winners, my small college conference tournament game of the year. All 6 plays, if you call right now, just $15. 866-841-1665. That's 866-841-1665.
All right, and Dave Koken will be back on the show next week. He wants to let everybody know that he's got his College Crusher Game of the Year going Saturday for $10, and it comes with a guarantee. You win one to get 7 days free on Dave, and he hit his College Game of the Year last Saturday. That was UC Davis, an underdog that went straight up at Fullerton. So if you missed that, you can get his College Crusher Game of the Year going Saturday, $10, 1-866-896-1629. And Jim Feist has a 5-play countdown Saturday, which is going to include his college total of the year. If you love to play totals, 2 weeks ago he hit his Game of the Year. That was Xavier. He has a 5-play countdown with that total of the year. All 5 plays for $25. 1-866-841-1655. Okay, let's start off with some NBA teams that are either packing in the season or that are very disappointing. Let's start with Jim Feist, who has an Eastern Conference team.
Okay, we're talking about teams that you might want to go against, and here is definitely one of them. The 76ers, 23-35 straight up, 17-15 at home, 6-20 on the road. But Doug Collins is having problems with this club. He doesn't think they're motivated. He doesn't think they're focused. They're on a 1-8 straight up, 4-5 ATS run. They're 8-point favorites at home against Orlando, and they lost the game 98-84, which Orlando's a terrible basketball team. You know the amazing thing about these guys? They're fortunate to have the talent and skills to play in the NBA, to play a game they love, and to get paid a lot of money to do it. Then you find all kinds of reasons to not perform well, to not perform up to expectations. Shame on them. Keep this trend in mind. The 76ers are 7-19 ATS in their last 26 games, playing no rest. These are young guys. There's no reason for that. This team is out of control. Doug Collins seems to have lost control of this club. Definitely a bet against team down the road.
All right, thanks, Jim. And Big Al, who do you see as a team out there that may be disappointing, past, present, and possibly future?
Well, one team that leaps to mind would be the Phoenix Suns. I mean, they're almost 18, 20 games under 500 on the season. They're working on their second coach for the year. Their offense, John, is 22nd in points scored, defense 20th in points allowed. They're 18th in rebounds. They're dead last in the NBA at defending the 3-point shot. They allow 38% shooting there. And what's amazing, in all of this stuff is they actually beat the best team in the league at San Antonio last week. And that was one of the 16 biggest upsets of the past 23 years. They were a 16-point underdog, and they won that game straight up over the Spurs in overtime. And, really I watched that game. It was, as a Spurs fan, it was frustrating to watch a team like Phoenix actually do that when the Spurs missed a free throw with 2 seconds left, and then they allowed Phoenix to hit that 3-pointer to tie to send it into overtime. And then the Spurs went 0 for 10 in the overtime session, and that's how Phoenix wins that game. But still, the Suns pretty much are a mess. Jared Dudley got into an argument with the teammate Luis Scola, again, when they played Atlanta last week. Then he snapped at Lindsey Hunter in the huddle. And this is a team you just have to really, hold your nose when you play, notwithstanding that big upset over the Spurs last week. And I think they're one of the more disappointing teams in the league.
Well, they went 0 for Spurs went 0 for 10 off the bench. Could you have done that? Come in off the bench and gone 0 for 10?
I don't know.
Just a bad game for one of the top teams in the league. One of the teams that I'll look at would be the Detroit Pistons. I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs, and there's a lot more negative vibes with this team than good things right now. I mean, they traded away Tayshaun Prince, fan favorite, a veteran from their championship team, 21st in the NBA in scoring, and even from the free throw line, don't overlook that. That's third worst in the NBA, 69% from the line. And if you want to look at situational factors, what a terrible time to be a Detroit Piston player. Starting this week, 6 or 7 games on the road, and if you want to expand that, from the end of February until April 6th, they'll be playing 13 of 18 games on the road. So here's a team with a losing record going nowhere, and they're on this nomadic trip all over the NBA. Probably a very unhappy time, right, for a team that's simply not playing well. And some spread numbers to keep in mind. When the Pistons play a team with a winning record, 7-19 against the spread. If you want to factor in the Western Conference, they are horrendous, 2-12 against the Western Conference. Okay, before we get to our Celtics-Hawks game, which is going on Friday, Jeff Sard, our man on the street, has a free college basketball total going this weekend. Jeff, what do you have?
Free play coming up. First, LVSS has been on a 72-44-2 run in all basketball, college and pros. Get my March basketball package, the rest of March in college and the NBA. 3 weeks for just $19. It will include my tourney game of the year as well as plays every day. Play March basketball with a red-hot Las Vegas Pro. LVSS, call 1-866-575-8916. The free play is Saturday in the Big East as Notre Dame ends the regular season at Louisville. Both teams are dynamite defensively, and note that the under is 34-16-1 in the Fighting Irish's last 51 road games against a team with a winning home record. The last time these teams met was February 9th, a wild 104-101 Notre Dame win at home in 5 overtimes, but it was 60-60 at the end of regulation, under the total of 126. Despite all the scoring, both teams shot just 41% from the field and were a combined 12 of 50 from three-point land. Louisville was third in the Big East in points allowed, just 58.5 points per game, and allows 39% shooting. The under is 7-2 in the Cardinals' last 9 versus the Big East. Look for a defensive duel, play Notre Dame and Louisville under the total on Saturday. Once again, get my March basketball package, the rest of March in college and the NBA, 3 weeks, just $19. It will include my tournament game of the year as well as plays every day. Play March basketball with a red-hot Las Vegas Pro. LVSS, call 1-866-575-8916.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Be sure and take advantage of that special that Jeff has going. Al, we got a game on Friday night in Eastern Conference, sort of a rivalry game between the Hawks and the Celtics, the younger Hawks against the aging Celtics, and likely playoff teams and possible playoff preview. Who do you think might have the edge in this one?
Well, on the surface, one would think that Boston would have the edge, given that Atlanta's been traveling. They played, 9 road games over their last 11 games. They had 8 of those, in a row on an 8-game road trip. You've got to think that Atlanta's going to be tired here, playing Boston. On the other hand, Atlanta's had tremendous success against Boston ATS. I mean, they're 25-19 on the road at Boston. At home, Atlanta's 28-20 combined, 53-39 ATS versus the Celtics. So, Atlanta's had Boston's number when it comes to, the point spread, but I think Boston's in the better situation here. I would only look at the Celtics on this Friday game.
All right, Jim Feist, how do you see this matchup?
The Hawks at the Celtics. I look for a slow-paced defensive game. Atlanta will be playing its ninth road game over its last 11 games, and just finished up an 8-game road trip on Monday. Played a good game at the Lakers, lost 99-98, and then got blown out at Denver. Well, the altitude might have got to them. They look tired out in Denver. So there's a lot of road travel here. The Hawks are a good defensive team, 15th in the NBA in points scored and 11th in points allowed. Boston prefers a slow pace too. They played earlier. It was an 89-81 game under the total. Look for a defensive matchup here. 2 tired teams. It goes under the total.
This is a game where the Celtics have some age we all know about, and they can struggle against younger and athletic teams. And the thing about the Hawks, despite this brutal trip, this will be their 9th road game, over the last 11 games. They do have that up front rebounding ability and athleticism with Josh Smith and Al Horford both having outstanding games. They also have a very quick backcourt with Jeff Teague and Devin Harris. That's the type of matchup that can give some of the Boston aging players like Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett some problems. And when the Atlanta Hawks have 1 day of rest, they're 9-2-1 against the spread. And they've also, despite this long road trip, they have been covering games. They had a stretch during the trip, 5 of 6 games that they covered on the road. I look at the 2 regular season meetings, they were close. One was 89-81, Boston won, and the other one was a double overtime game that Atlanta won, but Boston had a 29-10 lead in that game, and the Hawks, the younger Hawks, simply didn't quit and came back. So they do play hard for this coach. So I would lean toward the underdog visitors here, the Atlanta Hawks. Okay, let's go through best bets and what everybody has for this weekend. Al, we'll start with you. What do you have on tap for Saturday?
Well, on Saturday, I've got 5 games. We're going to kick it off tonight with a bonus 6 play, as I've got a nice TV winner for everyone. So 6 plays for just $15. And among the 6 plays, you get a Fortune 500 Club release. Those plays go for $500 online. Plus, you got my small college conference tournament game of the year. That's an under-the-radar release. And that's going to be part of our 5-play countdown for Saturday. So 6 plays, including that bonus TV winner tonight. Call 866-841-1665. That's 841-1665. For my best bet, we talked a little bit about that Boston-Atlanta game. I'm going to go with the under as my best bet in that ball game. The under is 8-3 with 2 pushes the last 13 meetings between these 2 teams. I'd look for a low-scoring game in Beantown. John?
Okay, I'll go for the Atlanta Hawks, the underdog Hawks on Friday night as my best bet. Dave Koken's off a 6-1 Saturday that included his college game of the year with UC Davis, a dog that won straight up at Fullerton. He's now 24-9 with those plays for this Saturday. He has a college crusher game of the year. It's $100 online. However, you can get it for $10 with a guarantee from Dave. You will win our 7 days free. 1-866-896-1629. Jim Feist, what do you have going this weekend?
I have a 5-play college countdown Saturday going, including college total of the year. That's right. It goes on Saturday. 2 weeks ago, I gave you my college game of the year, Xavier. And you can get my total of the year. That's right. Included in my 5-play countdown. All 5 plays are $25 when you call 1-866-841-1655. 5 plays, including the game of the year total, including in the 5-play countdown. 1-866-841-1655. It's $25. Make the call. Make it now. And if you want winners each and every day, text WINNER, WINNER, to 313131.
All right, thanks for joining us, everyone. For Big Al, Dave Koken, Jim Feist, and our man on the street, Jeff Sod of Las Vegas Sports Services, thanks for joining us. Make sure you check out the college basketball preview show of Proline, and we'll see you next week.